Hi everyone, have you ever wondered how to create very clear and easy to understand cards on a Tableau dashboard? Which you can see over here, numbers change accordingly in a very easy to understand fashion. Right, that's what we're going to do in this tutorial. So before we begin, I'd like to first thank you for clicking on this video, and also if you would like, you can drop this video a like and subscribe if it helps you. All the documents that we will be using in this video will be attaching the link in the description below, and I highly urge you to do that because that will make learning a lot easier. So let us begin. So as you can see over here, we have a practice sheet. I have imported the bar charts accordingly because that's not the focus of this video. So let's also take a look at the data set. So in this data set, we have 20 transactions, the revenue, as well as the cost of each product. Okay, those are irrelevant. So in the practice, we'll need to create our cards, right? So let's get started. Let's begin with the most simple one. Let's input the revenue first. So what you would like to do is to click on revenue, drag it over to text, and you'll see a number appear right over here. As good practice, I always rename my sheets. So this shall be revenue. And if you like to edit this text, which is what we would like to do, click on text right here. Click on this this button here. I like to include what is this about, so I'll write over here revenue. And I will also increase the font size of the digits to 20. Let's click apply, and you can see that it's not very centralized despite it being centralized over here. Not to worry about that. We can do some simple formatting. When I was starting out at Tableau, I struggled to find where I can edit the settings for these figures. So let me show it to you right here. So click on the drop down, click on format. We also know that this revenue is a currency value, right? So we like to have the dollar signs. Of course, we can do this and add in the dollar sign over here, apply. And you can see that the dollar sign will appear right here. But I don't think that's what we want to do because Tableau can easily format this for us. So all we need to do is to hit right down over here, click on this little drop down and select currency. All right, so I'm from Singapore, so they actually converted to my local currency, which is also a dollar sign, so that's cool. Moving on from here, you can see, this is not centrally aligned like what we saw in our final results, right? So what you can do is under alignment right here, click on the centralized alignment right here. If you like, you can also adjust the vertical alignment. So how do we add it onto the dashboard? Let's head over to our dashboard. As you can see, this grid sign right here. Click on that. Yeah, and you should see this panel right here. The previous panel was in format because we just entered the format panel to adjust our settings for our revenue, right? So all you need to do is simply just cross it away. See this over here? And we can drag it down. The neat thing about Tableau is that they have grids that will help you keep your dashboard tidy. As we see in the final product, we want to have all our cards at the bottom. So dragging it here, it will automatically adjust the sizing of the screens. So I want to make sure that I can see all 20 readings right here. So I drag it down right over here. So now that you know how to create a simple card like that, stay on because I'm going to show you how to do the card for percentages and also highlight certain things that you should be aware of and be careful about. So you can take the next card as a practice, the one to create for cost. And let me just breeze through this. You can pause the video right here if you'd like to test yourself. If not, just play on. So firstly, we would like to add in another worksheet. You can also duplicate the first one if you like to make use of the formatting, but I will show you from scratch again. So drag in from cost to text, right click on your sheet and rename it to cost. Click on this, click on that button, enter down, type in cost. I like my fonts to be big, so that works. Oops, sorry, forgot to align it. Yeah, okay, so all's good. So now we need to change the format of this text. If you were to right click this and click on the format, and you will see this, that there's nothing much that you can do over here. What you can do is click on the field, click on this, and that will bring you over to the same panel that we have seen previously. All right, so that's another way that you can get to the format settings. Change this to currency, and also change the alignment to center. Yep. Last but not least, let us drag it into our dashboard. For now, let me just put it at the bottom. Yeah, you will see why later. All right, next we are going to create a calculated field, which is as shown over here. We want the profit, right? So profit wise will require a bit of calculation. What I want to do is to create another new sheet. I will call this sheet profit. You can either right click on cost or revenue, that's okay. And we want to create a calculated field. So it is profit is basically your revenue, subtract away your cost. And when you see this thing pops up over here, you can click on that. Click on OK. Oops, I forgot to rename that. That's okay, we can rename it here. Let's call it profit. Yep, let's drag that into text like what we did. And here we go, we have a figure here. Let's do our usual formatting. We'll do a time lapse of this so that you don't have to wait. If you'd like to try it, of course, feel free to pause here and see whether you can get the same results as me. Alright, do you manage to achieve the same results? And the reason why I have put this at the bottom is because I like to split this very nicely into half so that I can now drag this back over here. So this takes a bit of planning because yeah, you need to know what is the sequence that you would like this to be shown. And yeah, there we go. I like to present it in this sequence because it's more logical. You take first you look at the revenue, right? Which is the blue bar over here. You can see the longer bar. Subtract away the cost and you should get the profit. So at one look, you can quickly do a quick check to see whether your figures are correct. And that is very important in analytics because we want to make sure that whatever we are presenting is accurate. And a lot of times we assume that the formulas react in a way that we think they do, but actually they do not. And we run into troubles and problems with these assumptions. All right, let's move on to the last part, which I think is most tricky. Let's take a look. Okay, so let's create a new sheet here, and we are going to create a calculated field to find out what's the percentage profit. And by percentage profit, we actually use the formula, which is the profit divided by the revenue. Okay, so let's call this percentage profit. Okay, do the same things. You see over here, click this. Okay, by now you should be an expert at this and you may be done even faster than me, right? So over here, let's click on format and let's change this. Okay, right now here we should change it into percentage. And there we go. Okay, so oh yes, one last thing, let's rename this so that we know what sheet 5 is. If not, later when we try and bring it into the dashboard and we'll get confused because right over here in the dashboard you will see it by the name of the sheet. So if we did not rename this, it will appear as sheet 5, and if you have a lot of sheets, yeah, you'll be literally drowning in shit. Okay, so let's drag this in right here. Okay, here it seems to I'm not sure if you can pick out a problem with this because you can see right here profit of 4,000 plus should not be like 700 plus % of the revenue, right? So there's something wrong here. This don't make sense. So this is going back to the point that besides just going through the steps and getting an output, we must always try and verify whether this output makes sense. So we realize that, hey, there's something wrong. So what happened is that Tableau actually sums up all the percentage profits. So from the individual profits for the, I can show you here. If you click on this filter, you may see that, hey, my tables are not responding, right? So do not forget to click on this and apply to all data. When you click on, you uncheck the all button, you should see that all the figures will disappear. And then when you click on the individual one, they should show you. So you can see this just running through and adding these items will identify why is there a problem with our percentage profit, right? And do you get why is that so now? Yep, I think you might have guessed it, which is that based on our formula previously, it is just adding up all the individual percentage profits, right? So that's why you see as I'm adding more and more transactions into this this visualization, the numbers just adds up, right? It just keeps increasing, but that is not what we want. We want to understand what's the percentage for every, the summation of all of these transactions. So with that said, we need to edit our formula a little bit. So right here under percentage profit, let's click into this, right click it, edit. And instead of just putting in the variables like that, we want to make sure that the formula is about adding all the profits and dividing it by all of the revenues. Right, click on apply. Okay, oops. Run into some problems here, but not to worry. All we need to do is to drag in our new percentage profit into text. You can see here instead of sum, it's shown as aggregate, AGG. Click on the text. Yep, you should know what to do now. We need to replace this value with this. So let's delete that away. Okay, right now we look at this figure. It's not a percentage which we want. Oh, what do we have to do right here? Yes, you have guessed it. We have to format it into percent. Of course, we can do the same thing, which is to divide this value by 100 and then add in a percentage sign at the back. But I think this is more elegant, right? Just by clicking a button, you can add in a percentage sign. Okay, and make sure that it's aligned to the center. Let's jump right back to our dashboard. And now you look at this value, it makes sense, right? It should not exceed 100% in terms of percentage profit. And there we go. Okay, but still, comparatively, this is not as neat as this, right? So this looks way neater. And you can see that the values also make sense. Okay, great. So how can we make the visuals look better? So firstly, I like to hide all the titles because I have already listed what these figures mean. So I right click on it and hide away the titles, and the next thing that I would do is to head over to here, which is the view, and I will standardize it by the width. So if you have done this properly, it should all give you oops. What did I? Oh yeah, click wrong. Okay, so by width, and there we go. This is our final results. So once again, if you find this tutorial helpful, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. It will help us a lot. And yeah, I hope you are now an expert in creating this sort of visual cards. If you have other shortcuts, feel free to write in the comments below. And if you have discovered new interesting things that you'd like to share with our community, please do that as well. So wishing you an awesome day ahead. Take care and goodbye.